So we're going to start off with a demonstration by Noel and Rizlan, and I will support them. Once to scrutinize the NCA, and then in the morning, and then once after Anne and Mukmin have done their sharing on the stateless in Sabah issue, seeing the invisible. And so then another one in the afternoon. Why did we choose these two topics? Let's talk a little bit about that. So the NCA was Tanah, and then this seeing the invisible was Air. Both these things, if you're operating at certain levels, are completely invisible. They don't exist, right? And maybe for majority of Sabahans, they don't exist. They're not that real. To many people, it's unseen. You cannot see it if you choose not to see it. So for us to put it starkly in 3D was to make it tangible to look at it. Because that's what we do. We look at the difficult issues. We want to understand them. So we're all gonna get this bag of barang. They kind of look like fun and games. And they're all things to use as symbols, yeah? So you can pour your barangs out for others to see. Everything. This is your time to learn how to be an artist, like Ilan or Michael. What will you use for what symbol to symbolize to represent the things that we're going to be talking about?
So yeah, I think the title day is about NCA and statelessness. So I didn't think about touching that because that will be when the group does it. So what I discussed with Rizlan and Yanti and Nat yesterday is to see where is FSI in FS. Where is FSI in FS? Yeah.
Where is Forever Sabah Institute within Forever Sabah?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what I thought of doing a model, because I think FSI never did a model for themselves yet, so this might be a good chance to do it. Okay.
Okay. So what they're gonna do, you two, is use all these barang-barang to make a symbol or the system of what is Forever Sabah Institute or where is Forever Sabah Institute within the Forever Sabah ecology. But it doesn't have to be, it is basically your representation, right? So there isn't any rules. You can use anything as boundaries, as fences. You can make something tall. You can make something flat. You can use the dinosaur to represent somebody who is like a dinosaur. There's a part 1 and a part 2. The part 1, form a sculpture that represents your current situation and the emerging future possibilities of your work and life. Describe each step you do to your partners. Finish your sculpture in about 15 minutes, so you have 15 minutes. reflect on your sculpture from 4 directions or perspectives. The coach, me, reads about the questions, reads aloud the questions, listens deeply, and may write down key points. Can someone write down key points when they are sharing later? Who has a notebook? Thanks, Phoebe. Okay, so 15 minutes from now. So when you do this later, time, someone is a timer. Can someone time? 15 minutes? Okay. Emily's gonna time. All right. Go for it, guys. So while they're doing it, they will share with each other. This is Cynthia, this is Ilan, this is the board. Yeah. So they know what they're doing. So imagine when there's 5 people doing it. It's even more important to do that, to be sharing. So you don't do yourself, you're creating the system, kan? Yeah. Okay?
For me, I describe FSI as not want to act like a hero, but sort of the playful superhero is FSI, I think. Spider-Man. Yeah, and energetic group. Common lah. Dia berdiri. So this is FSI for me. And yeah, we have a sense like spider sense. They can sense, oh, this is danger. This is like, oh, there's something wrong here and there. I think that's FSI in FS, that we need to stay alert within the FS ecology. Oh, people need this kind of training. People need this kind of support. Or people are falling over and everything lah. So I think Spider-Man is a perfect representation of that. And yeah, and for symbolizing myself, because I'm black, so I'm the Black Panther, I think. Hard to see, but I'm there. When you need me, so in FSI, I will put myself, usually I talk this a lot with my colleague in FSI. I play, most role is in the supporting role whenever they need help with their work, because I don't have work going on. So I'm always behind the process like what Noel is doing, Natasha or Russell need help. So I will help them do whatever lah they need help. Yeah. Well, anything to apa?
Yeah. So yeah, on what I thought after looking at this is jatuh punya Spiderman. So one thing I think FSI is how FSI interact with everyone in FS. I'm gonna add to the spider sense with the thread. So I'll be minion. Since Rizlan is black, so I'm white lah. Black and white, yin and yang. Yeah. So this thread always revolves around where FSI is. So like the spider sense is like a sauna, and then this web where everything intertwined between each project, and it goes through FSI like a bridge. So it involves communication, it involves like talking with everyone in detail, and then knowing if they're okay or they're not okay. I feel like FSI is a hub to that. So it goes through FSI. Sometimes it goes to Cynthia, and sometimes it goes through FSI before it goes to Cynthia, or anyone within different parts of FS, like the management team or the board team. We will go via FSI. I feel like that way. So it's like a bridge. So apart from just being a bridge to different projects, or like projects through management, it goes between projects to project as well. Like the mountaintop. the valley, especially the valley immersion. So yeah, so every year there's 6 valley, but last year we had only 4 valley immersion. So that's where the cross pollination between the projects happen. Invitation to different projects, and also from different projects to from projects in FS to partners outside who wanted to know FS. Yeah, and then
Can I just say, sorry, pause. Put the current reality, which is 6, right? Because
6.
it's every 2 months, kan?
Yep.
Rather than what we did last year. Sorry.
Okay. Yep. All right. So yeah.
So yeah, like connecting this, like we have like in FS we have like river punya, even though nggak tahu lah ketam apa nih. River, we have palm oil, we have elephant. And then we have also this lah, the FS army. Bukan BTS army ya. So this is like FSS.
Which is that?
FS punya staff.
Oh, I see.
Oh, TTC also supporting us. Jarang di sini lah. Si Ezek. Black. So yeah, this like connecting lah, dorang punya apa semua. And then ini kenapa di sini? So I think FSI is not the central of FS, but we kind of connecting. I think it is important for especially FSI to get to know each project good enough to be able to understand what we can offer and what we can provide to each project. But yeah, because I think FSI play a big role in supporting every and each project that need support. Yeah, that's it lah.
Then starting last year through this year, previously it was only 2 FSI plus Cat as our honorary FSI team. Now, mana Cat?
Oh,
Jerapah.
cat. This is nothing. Oh, this is.
And then, late last year we had 3 extra new. So makin lama makin jadi Ultraman kita. Mana ba lain Marvel superhero ni?
So yeah, now we have Tasha, Yanti, Lee, Noel, and Russell. So, ini siapa?
1, 2.
Yanti. Natasha.
Yeah. So we're growing and we're learning. So for now, there's like, so what I see in the system is mainly within FSI, it's mainly me interfacing with finance and admin, and then all of us will interface together with Cynthia, but we don't have any direct interface yet with the whole board, except for like Ilan, which I can contact, and Nyanti can contact Ilan as well, like by text. But I don't text Fred Coogan like hello. So yeah, so it's different between different board members is a different dynamics. I would say, yeah. So for now, some board members which I have known and which I have, let's say, like already with close I don't want to say close contact. So COVID. Yeah. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you think you have everything there that influences your system on a daily and long-term basis, like funders, or do you feel like your funders comes through you through finance rather than a direct contact with a funder? You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So all these things are important to put in your system because there are different levers and different pulls and pushes. Reporting, planning. Does that make sense? So the more your system, your 3D model represents the complexities and the nuances of your system, then the more when you're scrutinizing it, it will help you see. And it will help you see where to change. You see what I mean? I'm just putting in food for thought for you lah, and for the group here. This is just a demo. You get the sense, kan? So the level of complexity and nuance is up to us later when we do the NCA and the stateless issue, because the more we can represent and symbolize those complexities and nuances, the more we can discuss them, and then we can unravel them. Okay? Okay, but this is sufficient, right? You guys get the demo? Yeah? So then the next step is, in this part, is looking at it and questioning. So the north, coming from the north, so there's a reason we have a compass here. Here's the north. The north is the dimension of purpose. The east, which is here, is feeling and appreciation. South, truth and action. And then west is perspective. So we're gonna start off, guys, with east. So stand in the east. Feeling and appreciation. What do you love? What ignites your best energies? What other emotions come up? If this emotion could talk, what would it say? So what do you love? What ignites your best energies?
What I love is, from this point of view, is we have a bunch of us now, and yeah, I can feel positive energy around it. I feel more safe, more comfortable with the new members coming in. Yeah.
So what I love and what energy I can feel from here, from the east, is from 2 to 3 to 6, and it made a lot of growing energy, which is put there. And yeah, I think the growth is the most important, that we know, that I get to know more people within the group, and also how we can grow as a group. So each of us feed the emotion which is needed for growth within the group.
Okay, so for the purposes of the demo, you get it right. So you unpack those questions. You let everyone in your group speak. Not if they don't want to or don't have anything to add. Yeah, but if there's 5 of you there, then you just see what bubbles up. Yeah, sometimes someone says something, but it speaks for the group. Sometimes they just speak for themselves because nobody else feels that way, and it's just a diverse view. Yeah, and then you say, if the emotion could, the other piece is, if the emotion could speak, what would it say? Yeah, but that gives you a flavor. So now we go to the south, which is truth and action. What are the key conflicts and hard truths that you are facing going forward? What are the key conflicts and hard truths that you are facing going forward?
Hard truth, key conflict. I would say, and I think it would be mostly communication, since like earlier I said, FSI becomes like way information might or also travel. It became a point where I'm facing the hard truth is how is FSI being in the system within FS, and are we just messenger to send information to another, or is FSI a bridge so that everyone can be in one space with the space is prepared for everyone to go into and do the process in there instead of we do the process for them. Yeah. So it's either preparing space or just being a messenger. That's the conflict that I feel and the hard truth. If FSI prepare a space, if no one would enter, it will be just being a messenger, which is I feel useless.
So we go to the west, which is perspective. So remember, that's why when I said about capture the nuances and the complexities of your system, because when you do the viewing it from the different perspectives, you will see something different. Yeah. In a way, what they did here was kind of unidimensional. It's like when you see more or less the same thing from different perspectives, slightly different. But when you do something that is very much like, okay, the government is over here in this direction. Money is over there across the South China Sea in Putrajaya. You see what I mean? Then that will help you when you look at the different perspectives. You will see something different, literally through the angles. Okay. So West. What is ending in this situation? Wanting to die. And what is wanting to emerge or wanting to be born? What is ending in this situation, i.e. wanting to die? And what is wanting to emerge, i.e. wanting to be born?
I don't know about the thing that want to die, but I think the one thing that can emerge from this, I think this connection, it will getting much thicker, and it will go around in more an organized way rather than this. So I think it's taking shape in a better shape lah.
Yeah. Okay. So if I wanna, I can add. I'm now FSI. What I feel, what we are feeling institutionally, and we've talked about a little bit about this, is, you know how in the conventional organization you have HR, yeah, human resource, which is just about like you as an employee, yeah, your letter of appointment, your medical whatever, your gaji, treating you basically as, like an employee. We are now starting to see that Forever Sabah Institute is our HR version in Forever Sabah, our version of HR. It is not about welfare. It is about well-being, self-awareness, building skills, building capacity, mental health, self-care. You see what I mean? And it is an integral part of the organization rather than this thing on the side called HR. Yeah. So that's just speaking institutionally lah. So it is morphing. Basically FSI, which if you see on FS ecology is right at the end of the needle that goes around the 25-year clock. And now it's shifting to a very central place in reality. Okay, that was my moment of intervention. The last angle or dimension or perspective is purpose, north. If this situation were designed to learn or for learning, what might it be trying to teach you? So a spark of the future. What is the deeper purpose or call of the future that you're feeling now? So 2 parts. If this situation were designed for learning, what might it be trying to teach you? And a spark of the future. What is the deeper purpose or call of the future that you're feeling now?
Maybe one thing, what I can see from this side, what the system or the try to teach me is find myself in it, find my spot, and yeah, I think that's one.
The learning I can get is the pain of growth. So that's one learning. And then the spark of the future is, I think, like a baby growing up to be a teenager. So that's increasing capacity of what can be done and to learn how to venture into the outside world. Yep, so that's the spark, and getting more direct connection to the networks of the parents. And yeah, learning to stand up more with our own legs. Building the foundation has already been built, so it's to stand. Yeah.
Okay, great, thanks. Part 2. Okay, so you guys get a sense of part 1? Yeah, okay, part 2. Change your sculpture such that it better represents the emerging future that you want to create. Capture the essential points that have come clear to you throughout this process. And whoever just now was taking notes in your group later will then kind of chime in, by the way, these are the notes I took. Yeah? At the right point, like, you don't have to read them through. You can, but you can also just say, this is what you said tadi. Yeah, so change your sculpture such that it better represents the emerging future that you want to create. Capture the essential points that have come clear to you throughout this process. And ask, what would you need to do to give life to this emerging future? That's the second part, yeah? So first, change the sculpture based on emerging future that you want to create, and then capture essential points that you said tadi. What were their key points? Phoebe, if you want to read them out. If you thought there were 2, 3, 4 key points, then just to remind them.
I think 3 lah. So the first one that they brought up is how FSI is a support system to FS, and how you can sense what is needed next for the projects, for the staff, macam tu lah.
Oh, it's missed.
Okay, and then the second one is how you connect all the projects within FS, and then Cynthia also brought up your connection with our administration side, the board, and yang lain-lain lah. And then the third one, I think it's the same lah. How you connect is kamu act as a bridge. That's another point kan. And then the third one is influences to the system. So what causes the push and pull within FSI? Your funding, your reporting, macam tu lah. Yeah.
Thanks, Phoebe. I want to add my own quote-unquote notes from yesterday's session. So remember a few things, kan? So now I'm sorry, I'm being the chef, not your coach. Who was saying about divide and rule, Bunny? Yeah, divide and rule being key to how we became as a people, as a society. Okay, so when you feel that tension of being in between, and do you fall into the cracks of divide and rule, or do you resist that and rise above it somehow? And that has a lot to do with our own internal healing. So you can find a way to have everyone in the room. You can find a way to bridge, to unite. Yeah, and it's not always just a bridge. It's sometimes literally saying, okay, this needs to be discussed in the room. You see what I'm saying? So that's one, the divide and rule, and the role that we can play in resisting divide and rule. Yeah. Like, for example, between staff and management, between management and staff, those are very, very typical divisions in organizations. Very typical. It's like almost, that's the way it is. Board, management, staff. Okay? Can you see the hierarchy? So that was one, divide and rule. The other one was what Nick said about healing from patronage and healing happening all the time or simultaneously once we are on that track of having seen patronage. And then that's what we were saying in our huddle this morning. We are ourselves healing in real time, and we're creating a space for healing as well. So to see that, I think, is us building self-awareness in how we design processes. And then, like I said earlier, this now, with Venice coming in. Sorry, I'm using you as an example, but being thrown into the deep end. How do we, while we take care of ourselves, our team, and then someone, Venice, to be conscious that it lands differently for Venice. I think those are the two things I'm remembering. I think everything everyone said yesterday, Bunny talking about the septic tank. If politics, Bunny was saying that being in politics is like jumping to the septic tank. Meaning it's shit in there. So as we think about the transforming this, let's bear those things in mind, like notes. Okay, sorry, my last point that I remember now. What's become central in FSI has been mental health. That it's not just training, capacity building. Like central to that is everybody's mental health, the person's mental health, our colleagues' mental health, because that immediately impacts, their ability to be present to anything, never mind the job. So then we started to see, imagine shifting away from HR to prioritizing mental health. We saw that in the last mountaintop, remember? That was central to our discussion. So that means that going back to what Michael said about humanizing, even seeing the other as human, seeing each other as human. So that also goes back to healing from patronage. So instead of seeing everybody as the people down there pushing you up, seeing, seeing the dynamic differently, the pyramid, seeing that in a different way, and actually healing from that. Change your sculpture such that it better represents the emerging future that you want to create. Capture the essential points that have come clear to you throughout the process. Okay? Just okay. You don't have to be burdened by all those complexities, but do your best lah. Yeah, you can even the colors can symbolize something. So this is a chance to be creative. This is a chance for us to be artistic. Use symbols. Things don't have to be literal. They certainly do not have to be two-dimensional. Remember, it's supposed to be 3D, kan? If you can make it 4D, yeah, that's up to your imagination. But what we don't do is we don't write things on the paper, because you can't shift that. Change your sculpture such that it better represents the emerging future you want to create.
The 7, janganlah begana. This is FSI, right?
Yeah.
Me?
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to make you talk about the bridge that you don't like. So sini pun, they're not lying down, this thing. But the big one here is between FS. What I'm trying to do is make this big, our own Pan Borneo highway, the FS highway, antara the two megaliths, the Forever Sabah dengan the FSI punya gang, kan? And then something here, and then there's something on the bridge. The bridge is not the bridge is super important. The bridge is not just a pathway. The bridge is the journey is the destination, kan? So the bridge is so penting. So, and siapa is on the bridge? So involvement is a really interesting word for sculpture, because you're involving something. What are you involving? Why did you use the word involvement?
Because
It's a very good word.
I use it because I think there's no point if we do something and there's no involvement from the people that we want to involve. It goes also with the other project.
Is that just in the team, or is this like community? Who are you talking about?
My colleagues,
Yeah, your colleagues.
yeah,
So
in
This
FS.
is the FS colleagues, right?
Yeah,
And then, okay, so the soldiers, FS colleagues, right?
yeah,
So then this becomes, you can see this person is angkat banyak barang, sangat berat. It's a big, heavy, hard-working day because they got so many things to carry. Maybe somebody like, I don't know, Yogi is in so many programs, right? Maybe that's Yogi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody get the idea now of this protracted demo 3D modeling?